Welcome to Good News on Entertainment. I'm your host, Carley Boyette, joining you tonight from the charming city of Waco, Texas. What's in Waco, you ask? Well, besides being the home of beloved Chip and Joanna Gaines, it is also the home to the historic theater, the Hippodrome, right here behind me. We're coming up in December. You're going to have a chance to see an amazing concert experience called He Rules the World.
Situated on the I-35 corridor between Dallas and Austin, Waco is located in the heart of Texas. The charming city is known for countless shops, restaurants, Baylor University, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and the beloved Dr. Pepper Museum, among many other places. But arguably, one of the biggest reasons people are flocking to Waco in recent years is to walk and shop on the campus of Magnolia Market at the Silos. Magnolia Market and its famous landmark silos occupy 2 city blocks in downtown Waco. It's owned by HGTV fixer-upper stars Chip and Joanna Gaines. Admission is free. Visitors can play games on the lawn or picnic in the shade. The shops and grounds are updated frequently, so there is always a reason to come back. But tonight, I want to draw your attention to Waco's premier live music venue, the Waco Hippodrome. Since 1914, the Hippodrome has been known to host a wide variety of high-quality Broadway-style acts and entertainment. And this Christmas season, it will host He Rules the World December 11th through the 14th. He Rules the World is a rock concert that passionately brings to life the true meaning of Christmas through electrifying melodies and heartfelt lyrics, along with conveying animations. Kevin Sorbo is the one you will hear narrate the show. He Rules the World performs with a 5-piece live band and 5 additional singers to tell the story through song, narration, cutting-edge LED visuals, and a modern light show. One of those singers is worldwide renowned vocalist and performer David Gashin. He has the distinguished honor of having performed the role of the Phantom in Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera more than 1,300 times. We will hear from him in just a little bit. But first tonight, let's hear from Peter B. Emerson, who is the show's composer and musical director, along with his wife Jennifer, who is the executive producer.
Carley, let's start with the title, He Rules the World. And I think this is such an important message, especially when you can put it to music as well. We'll talk about that. But I just feel like in this time period that we find ourselves in, 2024, this is kind of the launch of this production. We're hoping it's going to get much bigger. But man, there's so much.
Seems like a bold statement, doesn't it?
Right, but it's an important statement.
Yes, it
so
is.
Let's talk about that and your heart and your passion to bring unity and remind people who rules the world.
Yeah, He Rules the World is high energy, family friendly rock opera that tells the nativity story in its completion. So Joy to the World, the hymn, 3rd verse, He'll rule the world with truth and grace. So that's the beginning of the 3rd verse of Joy to the World. And if you're thinking about the way that the story is set up and the way that we set up the story is that it starts with the prophecies of Isaiah and goes all the way through the birth of Christ, the family fleeing to Egypt, Herod dying, and then Joseph being told in a dream that it's okay for them to come back to Nazareth, fulfilling the prophecies, right? So the story starts out with the song that you heard this morning, He'll Rule the World, and then it ends with He Rules the World. So it bookends it. Yeah. So it starts out with, this is the prophecy, this is what's going to happen. God's telling us, and this is where it is. And so He rules the world. What else would we call it?
And talk about using music to deliver that story. Music is powerful on its own, whether it's secular, whether it's whatever it is. We know that it can pull on the heartstrings and just open a different kind of outlet, I think, to what we feel and what we know. And then when you present the gospel through music, I don't know if there's anything more powerful.
I agree. Music is such a healing power, and music can take you places whether you want to go there or not. I mean, you hear something on the radio that you heard when you were 13 years old, and you're instantly transported back to that space. So He Rules the World has a lot of familiarity in it. So I use hymn tunes. I use 23 or 24 different familiar hymn tune melodies and refer to these melodies, and they kind of weave in and out of the fabric of the material. And so if you go to the hymnal, you go to church and open up the hymnal, and you go to the Christmas section, which is about that thick in there, right? And you're flipping through all of these hymns that are in there. Each one of these hymns is like a stained glass window. So let me explain that. You go to the church with stained glass windows, and each one of those windows tells a little sliver or a portion of the overall story. Here's the stained glass window with John the Baptist baptizing Christ. Here's the stained glass window of the rest of it, all of it. Here's Moses. Here's whatever. So I kind of viewed these hymns as stained glass windows because they give us a portion. Away in the manger, well, that's not about the family coming to Bethlehem. They're already there. They're in the manger. They're in the stable. Joy to the World is spreading the news that Christ is born. The same way that the Coventry Carol is about Herod and the slaughter of the innocents. Now, that's the darker part of the story that a lot of people don't focus on or think about at Christmas time. It's part of the story. If you go to church for Christmas Eve service, you're probably not going to hear about the slaughter of the innocents, but it's as much of the nativity story as any other part of it. So I took these stained glass windows and lined them up in order in the way that they were intended to be used in the hymnal, and used those melodies as loose launching points to go into new material that is sung first person from the perspective of Mary and Joseph and the angel Gabriel and Herod and the wise men and the innkeeper and the shepherds, and from the perspective of the prophecies as well, to bookend the show and create something that actually tells the nativity story in its completion.
Which, by the way, I think is an excellent story all year round. Like, you guys have done such a good job that I don't even think this needs to be heard just at Christmas time. I mean, it's the story. It's it's timeless. Jen, let's talk about, I love the story of your marriage, and I love how you both complement each other. And when we had a chance to talk last night, you even admitted, you have this legal and, your expertise is just so different, I think, from a creative mind. But I get that. And you need both. And God can use both. Talk a little bit about that and kind of just helping his dream kind of come to life. And again, you even were honest and you said, God, how can you use an accountant, or how can you use somebody with legal experience? Oh, but he can, and that's what I love to hear.
Yeah, He Rules the World, and it resonated with me as a parent. That's initially why I wanted to get involved. I heard the music for it, and I just immediately, I could picture myself at a concert, at a venue, listening to that music with my daughter by my side. And that's what was so important to me. I find a very, very deliberate about what I will take her to, expose her to, and it's hard to find great, fun things to go to that are appropriate. And I could picture us doing this together. And so that's why I, was so excited about it. But not necessarily in the beginning of hey, I'm going to be executive producer of this. And I think where I felt like what God was trying to impress upon me was, Jennifer, you've been, I've given you these gifts. I've given you these talents. You've got this mind that can think very critically about challenging legal concepts. I have an accounting background. I mean, I've just very methodical and analytical, and in many ways, my career for the last 20 years has just been figure it out and get it done, whatever the challenge is, because I've worked for outside law firm, I've had lots of different clients, companies that I've worked for, and they all have different issues that come up. And so in many ways, it's just figure it out. You've got resources, you've got your brain, you've got people around you to talk to. And so what God was saying to me is, I want you to bring that type of just can-do attitude with your gifts and your resources, and I want you to put some of those resources into bringing, my message more directly to families around you. I mean, there's a lot that, I can, to use a cliche, I can be a beacon of light in a secular workplace, and God still wants me to stay there, but he's saying, but I want you to use some of those gifts that you've developed from, where I've placed you to do this very different thing.
And I get it, and that's why I wanted you to share on this.
Yes.
I think so many people can relate to that they think if they're not the creative person, or they're not the one that are doing TVs or music or whatever, it's just God can use everybody. It's what he does in the church. It's what he does, in how we create and make careers as well.
This would not happen without her. It just wouldn't. She is the tie that binds.
Well, there's so many pieces that go to this.
Yes.
What is the message that you think? Because again, this is just the beginning. We're hoping this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. What is the message of hope that you want to kind of make sure people, as families come, as children come, that they take away with them, when they leave, that will be everlasting? Not like, oh, it was a great time, glad I went.
Yeah. I want families to go to He Rules the World and leave just feeling grounded, feeling hopeful, feeling joy that even in the midst of a chaotic world, in a fractured world, things are so divided, but there is a master plan for all of this, and we know how it ends. God has laid it out for us, and I want parents and kids and grandparents, just everybody to leave just really feeling like, there's purpose and hope, and we have all been freely offered the greatest gift. And I say, and I hope that, but He Rules the World also has something for people who don't know Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the beauty. You may not want to invite them to church. That may be a little bit scarier, but
you can invite them to a concert,
to a good music show.
As you said at the beginning, music really does music makes us receptive to things in a very unique way. And I think this can just be an incredible outreach opportunity for people to go enjoy a great concert, but for God to do some watering, some planting and watering, and just see what happens. And I want this to strengthen Christian families who already have a relationship with Jesus, but I also want this to be an outreach for those who don't know him yet.
As we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
Well, David, I'm so excited for you and this team and this production. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel great. We've been working really hard for the past 7 days, got it down to a T, and we're ready just to spread the word.
Yeah. So tell me, this is such an interesting journey that you've had.
Yes.
Big stages, big productions, and it just really seems, I had a chance to listen to your TED Talk. I told you right before we got started here, and I get so excited when I meet other people, hear other people's stories, when it's so evident that God has been orchestrating everything up into this moment. And when in the moment, you don't maybe see it when it's happening.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that, on just how you're seeing God kind of work up until this chapter right here.
Yeah, it truly has been a heroic journey of God. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I didn't trust in His will, as we all do sometimes, but when you line up with what He wants for you, then you have far more blessings than you ever had before. Coming from a very worldly, secular show in Phantom of the Opera, right? Yeah. To be able to spread the news of Christ, which is the goal, always been my goal, no matter if I was singing Phantom or with a big band or with an orchestra. I wanted people to feel that my gift is exactly that. It's a gift. And if you don't share the gift, then it's not working. You're not living in God's will. And when I would sing to people and to get them to move, I sing at Stonebriar Community Church, Chuck Swindoll's church, and to be able to sing that and then come here to do something totally different than that, but still the greatest story that's ever been told, right? In a way that's never been told like this, right? With the music, the different styles of music, and having sung in a lot of semi-classical ways. To be able to come and sing rock pop, it's incredible. My kids are freaking out. They're like, "You're what?" I said, "I'm gonna sing a rock pop song." They're like, "Oh, God help us." But they're excited. They saw it when we did it, the first iteration a couple of years ago, and they loved it. And that's why I think that's what is so exciting, is that there's so many different songs that people, like I told someone earlier, everybody has a different favorite song because everybody has different styles that they like, right? And it hits so many different styles of music. That's the challenge of it, is to be able to switch and sing in that style and be true to that style of music while telling the story of Jesus Christ.
Well, and this is what I get so excited about, this time that we're living in, and the different creatives that are around and using their gifts and their talents. And I liken it to, there's different denominations that are spreading the good news of Christ. And now you have these different flavors and sounds. It's the same message as long as we're sharing the gospel. It's such an exciting time to be able to see all those different avenues that we can use. This must be exciting for you to see.
It's so exciting to see that. Like I said, when I heard the music the first time, I was like, sign me up. Because this is different. It's not just your normal Christmas concert, right?
It almost, the preview that I saw, the music is so good, it feels more timeless in the sense that it doesn't even necessarily have to be just at Christmas time, right?
100%.
Like the music is so good that it's like, no, I can sing to this,
Anytime.
in July
you
or
can
in
have it
February.
on your playlist. Because it's what it is these old hymns and songs about Christ and Christmas that Peter Emerson just totally reimagined and wrote in a style that fits. You wouldn't think some of these songs would fit the way he wrote it, but it's beautiful.
Talk about a live audience too. There are recordings, people can enjoy that as well, but there's something, and I can only imagine that is probably why you fell in love with Broadway and stage performance. There's something different about a live audience.
It's everything to me. I mean, that's my need, right? The adrenaline of, first of all, you got the energy of getting in front of people. Then when I get in front of them, it's nothing but fun. Right? I get in front of them, I get to see their faces change as the songs are going on, right? And that energy, it's that palpable energy coming back to you, which lifts you up even further. And you can almost grab it. Sometimes I feel like I can grab that energy. It's more addictive than any drug you can imagine, and I've loved it for years. So
we have a little less than 2 minutes left. I did want to ask how you're feeling, because in your TED Talk you shared that you even said you feel like a walking miracle.
I am a walking miracle. And since that TED Talk, my cancer came back. So last year, right after I finished He Rules the World, the cancer came back in my other tonsil. And I've been in treatment since then. With immunotherapy.
How are you feeling?
I'm in remission. Praise God. I'm in remission, and I was in remission only after 2 months of treatment. The doctor said, I've never seen this before.
So what do you attribute
it's because
that to?
He ruled the world.
Well, that's
right.
I mean, I'm assuming.
I can contribute. I think God still has plenty of stuff for me left to do, and plenty of stories to tell about Him and my life. Because you never realize how one life can affect so many people around you, right? But when you think about Christ's life, we're no comparison. He's affected millions and millions and billions of people since He was born. And to be able to live to that standard, to try to live to that standard, that's my goal. And I think God's given me the opportunity to keep staying in remission, staying healthy, being with my kids, being with my family.
And teaching, this is
and
also,
teaching,
and I
yes.
feel like as we're also called to be mentors,
Absolutely.
both professionally and what that means,
Yeah.
in
And
our walk with Christ as well.
Half the cast is my students.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are, young, sprite, little youngins, but they're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're incredible. So.
Well, we're so excited to see where this continues to go, how God continues to use you and your voice. And we're here for it. So we're going to do our part to help spread the word.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Christmas. Well, I've got to know that there is more than presents on the tree. I'm gonna find out what is Christmas.
So tell me a little bit. We'll do ladies first.
Absolutely.
Kind of your journey here, and man, it just seems like a really exciting, new, kind of thrilling project to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, you just hit most of the words I would use. Exciting, new, thrilling. So you've already spoken with David Gashin. He has been my voice coach since I was 14. So I've known him for a minute, which has been awesome. But he actually reached out to me about this project that he was a part of a while back. And he said, maybe if you would like to look at the material, it'd be great to have you come join us this year. And so I started looking at the material before even finishing the show. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I love a new works to begin with, but also just the opportunity to be able to perform with my childhood voice coach and someone who is as esteemed as David Gashin is very cool for me. And I mean, those two things I couldn't pass up.
Yeah. What about you? Tell me your journey. To
So
get here.
Peter and I actually were at North Texas together. I've known Peter Emerson, the creator, for a long time, years as they say. And it was just a few years back, he told me he started working on a new project that he thought was really special. And it was about a year later he reached out to me and said, I'd love to send this to you and just get your feedback.
Yeah.
And I kind of went through it. I do this a lot. I give feedback to people all the time. And I got just a couple pages into this piece and I was like, this is special. This is fresh. This is new. I love it. I called him right up and I was like, this is amazing. I want in.
So where do you guys see this going from here? As a team, or have you had a chance to kind of look at that and maybe put some things together? Or are you just trying to focus on the here and now?
I mean, you're more familiar with the runnings of everything, right?
Yeah, I have to be honest, I think the possibilities are limitless. I think the fact that this is a stage show, I could see this playing in theaters. I think the fact that this is a multimedia show, I could see this in multiple media sources and outlets. I could see this on TV, I could see this in film. I think the fact that this is such a timeless story, but we are approaching it in such a fresh way, and we're bringing in these new harmonic elements. We've got rock and roll, we've got soul, we've got these traditional Christmas themes that everybody knows, but we're hearing them in a fresh new way. I really think the possibilities are limitless.
Music is so fun like that because
Yeah.
I think that, so many people don't like just one genre of music. Like
Absolutely.
you see this time and time again. So when you are able to enter the gospel message into all of these different flavors of music as well, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of other stuff that's bringing it to one stage.
Yes.
Totally.
I guess. So talk about that and being a part of something that's really, like you said, just so unique.
Yeah, I think unique is a great word for this show. The way Peter has put together these Christmas carols that we all know and love, from years of holiday seasons. We know these songs forward and back, but the way Peter so artfully and skillfully puts these together and arranges them with new harmonic styles is very intriguing for the music nerd at heart, the theater person, because you hear these songs and you think, oh, we're gonna sing "O Come, O Come, Emmanuel," and then it draws you in when there's a chord that maybe your ear isn't expecting, and that's really cool. I think it's a very fresh way to hear these songs. Also, the way he puts them in this sort of chronological order of the story of the birth of Christ. A lot of people don't think about where in the story some of these carols sit and what that means to the story. So that's really cool too to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you hope people take away when they leave, again, this charming city of Waco? Again, this is where it's going to start here. Hopefully
right.
it expands from there. But what is it that you want them to take away with them?
I want people from all different backgrounds of their life, whether they are the most devout Christian or they're still questioning their own faith. I want them to see and experience this story in a fresh new way, something that everyone can take an element away from them and maybe think about. You know, we've turned to the scriptures in a few moments of this story that even in the most traditional of Christmas services, sometimes we gloss over. So I think there's something for everybody. There's something that everybody's going to take away and go, I've never thought about this relationship this way before. Oh, I didn't realize that this carol came from this part of the story of the Nativity. I think it has a universality to it that is so exciting and so new and fresh that everybody's going to come away with something.
Couple seconds left. Invite everybody out.
Yeah, please come check out the show. There's something for everyone in the family, the kids, grandparents, mom and dad. There's something everyone can latch on to.
December 11th through 14th at the Hippodrome Theater in beautiful sunny Waco, Texas.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you.
This year, experience the true meaning of Christmas in this heartwarming and hope-giving production that the whole family will enjoy. He Rules the World.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show and getting a look at Waco, Texas, and I cannot wait for you to see He Rules the World. Again, I'm Carley Boyette, and I look forward to seeing you next week right here on your Christian Television Network. Hey there, Carley Boyette here from Good News on Entertainment. If you're like me and love to hear when new faith-based shows, movies, concerts, books, and more are releasing, you are in the right place watching Good News on Entertainment. But I have more exciting news. CTN now has their own podcasting network. It's called the Amplify Podcasting Network. The goal is to amplify voices for the kingdom of God. Our lineup of shows offer compelling conversations that will inspire your journey, challenge your faith, and connect you to believers around the world. On the Good News on Entertainment podcast, you're going to hear some of my favorite conversations with different Christians in the entertainment industry. And I have no doubt they will encourage and inspire you on your faith journey. I believe God is using media like never before, and I invite you to watch and now listen to Good News on Entertainment. You can listen wherever you like to go for podcasts like Apple or Spotify. And to find out when the show airs on TV in your city, just go to ctnonline.com. And don't forget to download the CTN app as well so you can have access to CTN anywhere at any time.